Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about the 2025 New Jersey gubernatorial election. This race is set to be one of the hotly contested races of 2025, including the Virginia gubernatorial election. Mikey Sherrill is facing off with Jack Ciattarelli, and if you remember Jack Ciattarelli, you might remember him from 4 years ago when he ran for this office back then. So in 2021, he lost this race to Phil Murphy by over 3 percentage points. But frankly, if we look back at 2020 election results, that came as a big shock because the state of New Jersey was won by President Biden in 2020 by over 14 percentage points. So just a year later, the race is literally super close. I mean, Phil Murphy only winning that state by a little over 3 percentage points to Jack Ciattarelli. Well, Jack Ciattarelli has announced his candidacy again, and he's running for that seat to serve as the next governor of New Jersey yet again in 2025. Mikey Sherrill, a former congresswoman from the state, is also seeking the election to be New Jersey's next governor. And this race is set to be really interesting. I don't know about you all, but for me personally, I've heard a lot of people bring up an argument that New Jersey actually has a chance at being closer than Virginia this go around during their gubernatorial elections this November. And while I do disagree with that, I think that there is a strong argument there, because if we look back at the 2024 presidential election results in this state, we see that Kamala Harris was only able to win New Jersey by a little over 5 percentage points. So when we look at 2025, there's no doubt in our mind that we have to look at the obvious there and say, hey, Mikey Sherrill may not have this in the bag like we even thought Phil Murphy did 4 years ago. Polling started to suggest later in that race that the race was going to be closer. Again, we all know what happened in Virginia. Glenn Youngkin won that race against Terry McAuliffe, but we're talking about 2025, and I want to focus in on that. So this election's set to be really interesting, and I say that because, like I said before, a lot of people have said that they think that this race may end up being closer than the Commonwealth of Virginia. Winsome Sears and Abigail Spanberger are running in that race, and Winsome Sears seems to be taking a backwards approach, not really an approach that seems to be a winning strategy for, although some recent polls have suggested that she's narrowing her margin slightly, but still not enough to make up the ground that Abigail Spanberger has on her. But again, we're talking about New Jersey, so I want to focus in on that. There was a poll conducted late last month into early this month, and I just found the article. And it just says that Ciattarelli struggles to break Sherrill's lead in New Jersey's governor's race. And if we look deeper at this, we can see that in the most recent poll that I'm talking about, July 31st to August 11th, we see Mikey Sherrill with 44% to Jack Ciattarelli's 35%. So 9-point difference there. And then also another poll done as well, 47% for Mikey Sherrill, 37% for Jack Ciattarelli. This is concerning for him because, remind you, he narrowly lost this state just 4 years ago. He only lost it by 3 percentage points. But it's worth noting that the political climate in America in 2025 is going to be much different than it was in 2021. And I've stressed that in other videos, and I'll stress it in this one as well. We're in a totally different climate, a totally different circumstance. Donald Trump is currently the president. Many Americans do not approve of the job that he is doing, while some still do. There are still a lot that don't. And simply put, that's going to affect races like this one, with Jack Ciattarelli nearly 10 percentage points behind in polling. It's going to come as an uphill battle for him to win. And I say that again because, like we said, just 4 years ago, he only lost the state by 3 points. That's why he ran again. In every way I can say it, I mean, he simply chose to run for this race again because he truly thought he could win. He narrowly lost it 4 years ago against a pretty popular incumbent governor, Phil Murphy. And now Mikey Sherrill is running for this race and seems to be doing really good, at least poll-wise, in the state of New Jersey to be able to pull off a victory. Again, we still have a couple months until this election is said and done with, until we really get to those final weeks of the campaigns. But again, it's worth noting that even just a couple months out, Mikey Sherrill has a significant lead. And when we compare that to 4 years ago, totally different climate, only lost by 3 percentage points. If we actually go back to polling in the state of New Jersey in 2021, we see that some of the last polling done, Jack Ciattarelli was behind 6 points, 4 points. Some even being like 9 percentage points. And I make that note as well because we found out that Phil Murphy was not able to win this state by the margin that he thought he could. Again, totally different climate, but worth noting because Jack Ciattarelli had a significant lead. If you all remember 2021 election night, Jack Ciattarelli had the lead in New Jersey for much of the night until Phil Murphy flipped some of those really Democratic areas, and the votes came in those areas, and he was able to significantly improve his lead. But still, Phil Murphy didn't win by this crazy margin, and he certainly didn't win by the margin that polls predicted. And I say that because we look at 2025, and again, I want to make it note, we're still months out from the election, but Mikey Sherrill and Jack Ciattarelli are in those same polling positions that Phil Murphy and Jack Ciattarelli were in. Like I said again, though, it's important to note that 4 years ago is totally different than today's American climate and today's climate in New Jersey. But it cannot go without noting that 4 years ago, 5 years ago, President Biden won this state by 14 percentage points. 4 years later, Kamala Harris only wins it by a little over 5. Think about that. The margins there are significant, and it's worth noting. It's why a lot of people are paying attention to this race. And sure, we may see articles that say that Ciattarelli is struggling, and I certainly agree. I do not see Jack Ciattarelli being able to pull this election off. I don't see him winning this election at the end of the day. But I understand when people say that they think that this race could end up being closer than Virginia. Because if we look at the statistics here, Jack Ciattarelli definitely stands a better shot at winning this race than Winsome Earl-Sears stands at winning her race in Virginia. Jack Ciattarelli certainly could win this race, but at the same token, we have to look at the facts. And the facts are that this year, in 2025, Jack Ciattarelli faces a very, very uphill battle to win this race in New Jersey. Even looking back, 2021, still 3 percentage points difference. That's just 2 percentage points shy of what Donald Trump's margin was 3 years later. 2025, Mikey Sherrill, Jack Ciattarelli. It's going to be a different campaign for Jack Ciattarelli, a different campaign for the Democrats, and altogether, it's going to be one that we have to pay attention to. Jack Ciattarelli has the ability to make this a closer race, but it shouldn't be said that he's going to win. It shouldn't be said that he has even this crazy chance of winning. Can he win? Absolutely. But Mikey Sherrill absolutely stands as the better chance. You would rather be the Democrats in this case. And Mikey Sherrill has certainly ran a campaign worth noting, and she's certainly giving Jack Ciattarelli a run for his money. And I think at the end, it's going to pay off for her. I think Mikey Sherrill pulls this race off. I think she wins it, and I think that's the outcome that we see happen in this race in 2025 here in New Jersey. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm trying to improve my content as I'm getting back into the schedule of college and trying to navigate this channel and make sure that I'm uploading content and getting stuff out to you guys so that we can talk about these races as we get closer. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and comment down below what your thoughts are on this New Jersey gubernatorial election here in 2025. Thanks so much again for watching.